Mshikamano hatima yetu, tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika, chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini letu wakati wa mafarakano. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima.
Let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us make Africa the tree of life. All of us Africans, all of us come from Africa, whether we're Caucasian, whether we're black, whether we're Asian, all of us Africans. That is scientifically true. Welcome to Humanist TV Africa. My name is Katom Mukasa. I'm Ugandan, interested in issues humanism, issues human rights, issues history, issues progress, issues economics, issues politics. And this is your TV, Humanist TV Africa. I want to encourage you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Humanist TV Africa, but also our Facebook page, which is Humanist TV Africa. Please join us by subscribing and be able to see over 400 beautiful shows we have made to educate, to inform, to empower, to share knowledge, to learn from you. This is why we exist, to empower knowledge, to share it with you, to inform you, to educate you, but also to learn from you. You may write to us at info. Our email is info@humanisttvafrica.com, and of course our WhatsApp number is right there. Our communication officer, Brian Kabeko, right in Kenya, will be able to read all your messages, all your emails, and will be promptly responding to you. We are a non-government organization. We are registered to do the work we do, and our intention is to cover the entire world. We want to be a global media network for secular people, begun by secular people, but of course for everyone. We are a humanist network that is going to be covering the entire world. Today, we have studios in the UK, studios in the US, studios in much of Africa, Uganda, Kenya, of course, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and we are calling upon all people to join us by opening up studios in your countries. Today, the program is Country Profiles, and my producer is Dennis Bongole, who is based in Uganda. We look at Sudan today. Sudan is a beautiful country with a big history, with a rich history. Did you know that Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt? Sudan has over 200 pyramids than Egypt. Did you know that Sudan was once called the Kushite Kingdom? It was not called Kush. Kush, not Sudan. Sudan was simply given to them to mean a land of black people by the Arabs. It was called Kush. Kush, where dark people, pitch dark. I am not dark. I tell you, I am not dark. I'm chocolate brown. If you compare me with guys from Sudan, they are the real definition of a black African. Very tall. I'm a dwarf when you bring a Sudanese and you compare us with a Sudanese. I'm really dwarf. I'm really very short. I'm a bit brown. Sudanese are pitch black. Many of them are pitch black. They have a beautiful history. There are quite many in number right now. We're talking about 46 million people up north and about 10 million people in southern Sudan. It has been a country that was once a colony of the British Empire. The mighty British Empire conquered most of us in Africa, and Sudan, of course, did not survive the colonization of the British right in Africa. Sudan has a rich history, a rich tradition. Of course, there are Arabs in Sudan, And there are black people in Sudan, and they have been living in harmony for so many years. Then it's going to be giving us images, and I'll be explaining to you a profile about Sudan. Then let us have these images, starting with the maps. My photo is going to be aware, my image is going to be aware, and then we look at the screens. That is the screen, that is Sudan. Then on each of these images, give me like a message, like a minute to explain these maps. You can look at the map of Sudan. I haven't been talking about Southern Sudan or Northern Sudan, no. I'm talking about Sudan, the way it was after independence. You look at it, look at Wadi Halfa, Amdman, Kassala, Khartoum, Pasha, Kut, Gerard, Anuba Mountain, Nyara, and all these areas. This is what forms Sudan. You can see the Nubian, this one right there, right there, the Atabara area there. And then who are the neighbors of Sudan? Of course, you can see Port Sudan right there. Neighbors are Egypt up north, Libya, then the Red Sea right there, Eritrea, and of course we have Addis Ababa here, the capital of Eritrea, Ethiopia down there. We have Uganda, Kenya, DRC, and of course the Central African Republic. So Sudan is surrounded by so many countries: Chad, Libya, Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, DRC, Central Republic, African Republic. Now you can imagine how many countries can access Sudan. It is strategically located. And again, look at the Nile there, the Blue Nile there, and of course look at the Red Sea up there. So Sudan is well placed in the world and right in the middle of Africa. Then give me the other map, please. Give me the second map, please. And now this map shows you the most important locations of Sudan. If you zoom it, it will give you the most important locations of Sudan: Rabat, Jaila, Wadi Halad, Kassala, Khartoum down there. And they give the entire Sudan the way it was: Obeid, El Nahad, and Al Fuda, Nyara, all these areas. And it gives you a bit of southern Sudan just down there. You can see that southern Sudan is very small compared to the bigger Sudan. Now that is Sudan for you right there. Then let's give me the third map, please. The third map, please. This is Sudan now. This is Sudan. Give me a minute there. I'm going to explain this. Now, Sudan was initially called Nubia. The first name of Sudan during Kemetic times was Nubia. And this was the original name of Sudan. And then at that time, there was Kemet, and then there was Nubia. Now, some people called it Ta-Nehesi or Ta-Seti. The ancient Egyptians called Sudan Ta-Seti or Ta-Nehesi. And then it was generally known as the Nubian land, the land of the Nubians or the Kushites. The Kush, which is Kush, Kush, the kingdom of the Kush. That's the one that occupied Sudan. Sudan has many pyramids. I told you that some of these pyramids were there in the 8th century BC. 8th century BC. These pyramids were in that kind of place. You see there on your screen. And of course, the pyramid of Djoser, which was built in Egypt in 2650 BC, actually it was built almost the same time when other pyramids were being built in Sudan. Let's give me other images now of Sudan. I'm explaining the history of Sudan. Look at Sudan. Now, this map shows you the major points, the major cities, the major towns, the major areas in Sudan. You can see Dongora, Wadi Halfa, Harar, Port Sudan, Haila, Adbara, Halfa, Sena, Ed Dusen, and others. Awel, Marakai, Kumuk, Kadugul, and others. These are major point areas in Sudan. Thank you, Dennis. Let us go ahead with showcasing other major areas of Sudan. Now, these are the mineral wealth of Sudan, the minerals of Sudan. Sudan is an extremely rich country. Sudan has gold. I'm going to be showing you a map. Sudan has gold. and lots of gold. Sudan has iron ore. Sudan has copper, silver, chrome, manganese, polymetric sulfide. It has aluminium, bauxite. It has cobalt, nickel, lead, uranium, asbestos. Then it has graphite, mica. Then of course, and all these other minerals. All these minerals that people want, can be found in Sudan. Gold, iron, copper, silver, all these other minerals can be found in Sudan. So why do we say Africa is poor when Africa has resources? Are we not using our resources? Look at this map again. It shows you the mineral distribution in Sudan. It shows you the mineral distribution in Sudan. Sudan is rich. Sudan is big, but also Sudan is rich. You can see where gold is. You can see where copper is. You can see where iron is, phosphates are, and everything right there in Sudan. Let's continue with other maps, please. And of course, other images, please, if you can get it. Now, these are the Nubia pyramids. I told you Sudan has over 200 pyramids. Sudan has over 200 pyramids. And of course, their kings were buried in a city called the city of Meroe, which was the capital city of Kush. The kingdom of Kush had its capital city called Meroe. And in this city, 30 kings were buried right there. 30 kings of Sudan, of the Kush people, were buried right in those pyramids. There were 200 pyramids where 30 kings were buried in those pyramids. At the same time as Egypt was developing, as Kemet was developing, Sudan was developing. Sudan has more pyramids than Kemet, Egypt. Sudan has more pyramids than Kemet, Egypt. Remember, Sudan became a modern republic in 1956. To got its boundaries, of course, from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, which was established in 1899. 1899, the British took over Sudan, and the country, of course, was named from an Arabic Berad name, which is Al Sudan, which means land of the black people. Land of the black people. They were completely black people right there before the Arabs came, and the Arabs dominated. Now, this is in that. Take me back to that rock, Dennis. The rock is this is the Nubian pyramid, one of them that was built in the year 751 BC. You can imagine 751 BC. This Nubian pyramid was built. Then take me to another image, please. Was built, and of course, this is a rock that has got its name in World Site Heritage. UNESCO has named this rock as something that is amazing in the world. It is called Jabal Rakal Rock. The Jabal Rakal Rock is older. They say it has over 1,000 years old, and is a tourist attraction. The Jabal Rakal Rock. It is a World Site Heritage Center right there, taken over by UNESCO. Taken over by UNESCO. Then some more photos, please. More images of Sudan. Sudan had been there as a kingdom since the 8th century. Look at the inside of the Nubia pyramids of Sudan. Look at the inside, how neat these are. Then we begin wondering, how smart were these people in Africa in creating all these things? This is lasting for 1,000 years plus. But look at the inside of the Nubian pyramids of Sudan. Then let's continue with another image, please. Map of Sudan. You can see who are the neighbors of Sudan: Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Southern Sudan, Central Republic, and of course we have Chad there, and of course we have Libya up there, and we have Kenya, and all these are the neighbors of Sudan. Sudan is Sudan South, and of course Sudan, the main Sudan. Look at the Sudanese. They are very proud with their tattoos. Sudanese are clear, distinct. When you find them, they are proud of their tattoos. I was in law school with Sudanese. I can tell you Sudanese love their culture. Here is a beautiful lady from Sudan. You can see how beautiful these ladies can be. And they love their culture. They love their blackness. They are proud of their kind of color. Those are Sudanese. I know, I've gone to school with Sudanese. I know how proud they are with their kind of skin tone. This is a Sudanese lady wearing her beads. And of course, they have these colors which are a bit symbolic of the expression. The way they make their hair is unique to them. These are Sudanese. A beautiful lady there from Sudan. Sudan has all these people. They come in different shades, but of course, many of them are pitch dark people in Sudan, and they are very tall people. Look at these ladies, very, very beautiful looking ladies. They love their dark color. I call them pitch dark, pitch black color. Look at the Sudanese right there. And then they have these who are a bit brown, but also happy to be Sudanese. They can be very happy people right there, despite the challenges they've been going through, the war, the civil wars, and all that kind of thing. Sudan remains a country with a very proud people. Look at their culture, the way they like their kind of culture, traditions, beads, the way these ladies actually put on is very symbolic of a people in Sudan. Look at this lady, very proud to be part of your Sudanese culture right there. They love these kind of colors. When you say Sudanese, they love yellow, they love red. They are people of the sun, you know, and they love their kind of tattoos. Very happy people, regardless of the challenges they have, of the instabilities now and again. Look at this kind of hut, this kind of house built by a Sudanese lady in Ramu, somewhere in Sudan, a country of wonders, a country of a rich history, a country of pyramids. The Sudanese love wrestling. The Dinka people in a wrestling match in Sudan, the Sudanese love wrestling. They are great wrestlers, by the way. They are very energetic. They are great boxers. They are great athletes. People of Sudan, quite a very impressive people right there in Sudan. They love their wrestling. They are very, very energetic people, a little bit aggressive, tall, pitch dark, and happy people much of the time. Much of the time, regardless of the challenges they have, they are happy people. Now, these are people in the main Sudan or the Arabic Sudan. And the way they dress, yeah, they are Arabs, but Arabic Sudanese, Arabic Africans. They have been in Sudan for so many years. So they took over. Now, look at these Sudanese women working their heart. I told you that women in Sudan do so much work that is done by men elsewhere. In fact, some of the huts are roofed by women in Sudan. Women in Sudan are powerfully endowed that they can do so much. I think it's part of their culture, but also something to be proud of. Women in Sudan don't simply sit around to wait for men to do work for them. Women in Sudan actually build their houses and roof them. They're as energetic as any other people elsewhere. And of course, Sudanese with cows, no, Sudanese value cows so much that actually there have been also stories of cattle wrestling, raids of cattle, because Sudanese, whether they go to school or not, the cow remains a symbol of status in Sudan. And the charcoal transportation in Sudan has been under war, so transportation becomes hard. Getting charcoal becomes hard, so you can find sometimes cars loaded like this one. The roads sometimes are not so good due to insurgencies. Insecurity have been part of Sudan for some time, but hopefully all this will be history with time. Sudan remains a country where we see arranged marriages, where we see forced marriages. Some of the cultures in Sudan are not very impressive, just like the rest of Africa. Some of these cultures must be dropped, especially the culture of forcing girls into marriage. That one, we condemn here at Human Civic Africa and say this culture must be stopped. Sudan, Juba, one of the beautiful cities right now. It has so many trees, a lot of nature, a lot of life in Juba right there, as you can see on your television right there, wherever you are. That is Sudan. Juba, Southern Sudan, quite a very big city and quite a very, very impressive. Quite very impressive. These are the unique tribal marks you will grow up to see on your body if you are born in this society, and there are nothing you will do about it. There's nothing you do about it. These are tribal marks. Each tribes have their own tribal marks. So a child is given these tribal marks as a child to differentiate them from a different tribe. Now, these things which you may not change because they are part of this culture in Sudan, the land of black people, very black people, dark people, right there, and very proud of their tribal tattoos, call them tribal marks, that distinguish them from the rest of Africa. This is Sudan. We're talking about today. Sudan, the country of tall people, the country of very energetic people, athletic people, the country of a proud people of their culture, people who tattoo their bodies with a lot of tribal marks and these other features that distinguish them from the rest of Africans. Sudanese have their kind of symbolic features that distinguish them from the rest. Then we conclude this show with other images. Salva Kiir Mayardit is the president of Sudan since 9th July 2011. This is the president of Sudan, the man in the seat in Sudan, a former soldier, a former vice president, and now a president of Sudan following the death of John Galanga, Dr. John Galanga. That man took Sudan to war, and then Sudan had that kind of civil war where Galanga led his soldiers, and of course he ended up dying in an helicopter crash in 2005. He died then in that year. But he had led Sudan to liberation, what they call the Sudanese People's Liberation Army. That was the man leading it. And that army was being sponsored, of course, by Museveni and Uganda, among the sponsors of the revolution in Sudan, which was led by none other than Dr. John Garanga de Mabio, one of those toughest Africans we have produced in this epoch. That was John Galanga. Dennis, the last image, please. And we are here. These are Sudanese. They have their Voice of Juba, a radio station there that gives lots of good information. And of course, Spanish TV Africa will be working together with the Voice of Juba to bring in more stories from Sudan. That is Sudan for you. It has been Country Profile here at Spanish TV Africa. We keep on bringing you a little more about Africa that you don't know. This is the only TV station where we give you what you don't know about Africa, what people hide sharing about Africa, what the mainstream media doesn't talk about Africa. We shall be able to bring it to you, and we show you the better version of Africa others don't show you, because Africa is not dying. Africa actually is peaceful, and Africa is progressing. Africa is resourceful, and Africa is promising. The future is Africa, and we are all Africans. Thank you so much for joining us here. This is Spanish TV Africa, and this is Kato Mukasa signing out. And I'm saying, see you in the next one.
Tuungane sote na tushereke pamoja ushindi kwa ukombozi wetu. Tujitoe wenyewe, tusimame pamoja kulinda uhuru na umoja wetu. Enyi Bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Mshikamano hatima yetu, tujitoe wenyewe kupambana pamoja, uhuru na umoja vitawale. Enyi bwana na binti wa Afrika, mwili wa jua, mwili wa anga, tuifanye Afrika mti wa uzima. Tuungane sote na tujibidishe kutoa kilicho bora kwa Afrika, chimbuko la wanadamu, chemchemi ya utamaduni, tumaini